You know what's funny about turning 40? Everyone expects you to have it together by then, as if the universe hands you a manual on becoming a real adult. But there I was, standing in my kitchen that Tuesday morning, staring at 3 perfect layers of lemon cake, and feeling more lost than I did at 25. Mom's recipe was burned into my memory: 2 cups of flour, 1¾ cups of sugar, half a cup of butter etched on a yellowed index card I'd borrowed from Marissa's mom years ago. I'd been up since 5, creaming butter, measuring vanilla extract, convinced this cake was my last shot at saving our 15-year marriage. I spread the frosting with magazine-worthy precision, arranged delicate lemon slices on top, and texted Marissa's college roommate, Sarah, flying from San Diego. I ordered her favorite flowers, hung the paper lanterns from our honeymoon in Italy, and set the table like I was hosting the president. Maybe, just maybe this time, she'd remember why she fell in love with me. Guests arrived around noon. Jenny and her kids, Wallace fashionably late, Sarah buzzing with enthusiasm. Marissa descended in a stunning blue dress, her smile bright. She greeted everyone graciously, but when she finally looked at me, there was nothing, just emptiness. We laughed, we ate. I served slice after slice of cake, stifling the knot in my chest. Then, as I presented the 3-tiered masterpiece, 40 tiny candles flickering the room hushed. Everyone sang happy birthday while I stood behind Marissa's chair, hands on her shoulders. She leaned back for a split second, and I dared to hope. "Make a wish," I whispered. She exhaled, blew them all out, and the applause died on her lips as she looked me in the eye and said, coolly, "The best gift you could give me is to leave my life." The room froze. Sarah's wine glass hovered at her lips. Wallace's kid stopped mid-scream. Jenny snapped her head up from Instagram. My hands went numb. There was no fight in me, only shock. I couldn't even nod an apology before everyone filtered out, forfeiting the rest of their cake. Over the next week, I vanished. I sold the house I'd bought 3 years before we married, froze our joint accounts, and moved into a modest apartment I'd found online. I met with an attorney, my only hope for keeping whatever dignity I had left, and learned that because I'd owned the house first, I could reclaim sole title. I changed the locks, listed the place for sale, and quietly signed a lease on a 1-bedroom downtown. At first, I mourned the life I'd built. My home office, once painted ocean blue, became her wellness sanctuary. My father's worn leather recliner ended up in the garage. The guest room was my exile. The spare keys she no longer had access to lay on the counter beside the letter I left her. No anger, just facts. Statements of unauthorized bank transfers, divorce papers, and proof I'd reclaimed what was mine. Social media erupted. She posted about financial abuse and emotional betrayal. Mutual friends called, demanding my side of the story. I said nothing. Silence became my strategy on my salvation. With every public post, her narrative unraveled. I watched her campaign for attention fall flat while I rebuilt my life in private. I filled my mornings with solo hikes and photography classes. Even took watercolor lessons, my old dream revived. I discovered that peace, not cake, was the sweetest gift. Then one day, an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Voss, slipped a letter under my door. She'd watched me shrink over the years, mute in my own home, erased in conversations and photos. She told me she was proud. I finally walked away. I wept at my kitchen table, the first real tears in months. Someone had seen me. 6 months on, I wake up to true silence. My apartment walls display my own work photos and paintings. I chose because they moved me. I drink my coffee on a clean counter, alone, unhurried. I've even been on a few dates, laughing, sharing stories, feeling seen again. I'll never forget the day my wife asked me to disappear. But I didn't. I chose myself instead. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is vanish from a life that's erasing you, so you can reappear as who you were always meant to be. 4/4 Ask ChatGPT.